What's up? Welcome back to another market recap. Today is August 2025. So I had no trades last night. The main trades I was looking for were yen trades, right? We talked about these yesterday. And let me go back in time here a second, pull the pivots back up. And the main issue I ran into is the one I wanted to take the most is this euro yen short. And you can see on like my 10-minute time frame here where my entry point would have been or where at the level in which I was looking to enter was pretty much 0.382 around the pivot area. So I pretty much needed price to break the 10-minute 50. And primarily, I was looking for a bounce off of the 10-minute 200. So somewhere in that vicinity to then get a reversal and then take that short. But price reversed before that kind of level on both the Swiss and Euro yen, which are my two primary pairs. Singapore yen and pound yen could have been taken. Pound yen was probably the better option of the two if it fit position size wise. But either one of these pairs had, kind of micro time frame entries if you wanted to be aggressive on like a 30-second time frame that would have allowed you to get into the trade. And then it would have played out pretty quickly for a 2-to-1 with very little management down to the S1 region. I think as long as position size wise it fit, and yeah, it would have been fine. It's 24 or so pip position would have fit just fine. So ultimately the low test that we were seeing on the 4-hour on the 4-hour 50 on pretty much all of these pairs really wasn't a true low test because it's a break and a retest on your 1 hour and like your 10-minute time frames. So overall, these trades would have all played out for 2R. It's just unfortunate that my two primaries didn't pull back enough to present an entry. In hindsight, I probably should have just taken this pound yen. It's pretty much the same as euro yen. But it already had price pulling back into the area where it needed to be to take the trade. For my knock pairs, I did get pullbacks. Granted, these pushed a little higher before they pulled back. But this CAD knocked pulled back, and I was watching it about at this level. I say you could probably have entered roughly there for a live entry. But at that time, spreads wides on this pair didn't really make sense for me to trade it. So likely though, if spreads did make sense, I took that entry. I wouldn't have been able to really execute any management on this trade, and it would have just been a full loss. Dollar knock did get the pullback we were looking for, but it wasn't until like later in the day. During New York, the spread on this was tradable, but at this point, I kind of already wrote the knock trades off. So the knock yen, similar to Aussie yen, which we'll get into here in a second, pushed to kind of that level we were watching, and nearly got there and then reversed. Could have traded something like this potentially for like a wave 2 kind of pullback play. And then the same for Aussie yen. I was watching this trade. I'm not super comfortable right now taking trades on like wave 2, wave 4. I primarily trade wave 3 and wave 5 because wave 3 and wave 5 are with the trend. Wave 2 and wave 4 are counter trends. So I prefer to trade with the trend, obviously. but I know these setups exist. I watched them occur a good bit. I'm trying to pay attention to them more and more and more, and potentially start trading them here soon. So my mentor I've had for a long time, on and off, trades these a lot. It's probably it's tied with his top 3 types of patterns he trades. So I know they work. I've just yet to really grasp my head around what makes a good one, what makes a bad one. So I thought this one looked pretty decent, at least on, let's get our pivot back. From the perspective of like this 2-minute time frame, price kind of just continued, had a little bit of a pullback, and then continued again. I think realistically, you would want price to not have this pullback and just kind of have this super overextended run to this level. And that would probably make for a better wave 2 play. The way I was looking at this is you had a break of a trend. You had a kind of a double bottom here with a slight higher low. So playing that breakout initially did kind of work, but then hit another level, consolidated, gave you a third, like a triple bottom pretty much, and then broke out of the new trend line that had formed. And then you could have taken this entry or that entry. Both of them are pretty valid. I think both are work. But management wise for this trade, with my standard management, there wouldn't really have been any. So because from a 10-minute time frame, it never really broke the 10-minute 50. So there's no way to really clip the low to take half the risk off using the 10-minute. Using the 2-minute, however, could have, if entered here and using the 2-minute when it broke this trend, I think you could have clipped the blow, removed about half risk. And then when price followed through, got a retest, and then roughly about this area, I think you could have moved the trade to a break even, and then you would have been tapped out for a break even on this. Just depending on like if you're using the 2-minute or the 10-minute for management. I mean, you're going to catch a larger run using a 10-minute time frame for management. But using a 2-minute time frame, it's still possible to catch a larger run, but majority of the time, you're probably not going to. You might choke a trade occasionally just because you're going to have tighter management. But not the flip side is you can prevent a full loss more often than you can with the 10-minute. So it's kind of picking your poison in a way. There's also the potential to enter this trade on this break with a stop clip already, with a tighter position size of a 2-to-1. And this would have netted probably 1R. I mean, on this breakup here, once you're at like 1.2, because this is a counter trend, I'd be looking to lock my 1 as soon as possible. So 1.2, I would just go ahead and lock in 1, and on this retracement, it would have tapped it out, more than likely. So a couple different ways to look at this, essentially. So this is some of the stuff that I'm paying attention to and tracking and deciding how I want to approach these trades when I start to trade them live. Do I want to enter them with just a stop clip below so that my target is tighter and easier to hit? Or do I want to have more of a stop protection and a wider target? Like, what kind of works best? Do I want to use the 2-minute to manage? Do I want to use the 10-minute to manage? So, yeah. Either way, potential trade on Aussie yen for that wave 2. And then Euro Aussie gave something similar. But both of those trades wouldn't really have played out with my original position sizing or my normal 10-minute time frame management. So yeah, it's unfortunate. These yen trades were nice. Happened real early. I would like to get into one. Either way, I'm going to go make my watch list for the upcoming session, and I'll see you guys here in a sec. All right, and we're back. So I have two groups on watch for tonight. I have a Swiss group and I have a pound group. Two of these Swiss pairs that I have on primary are exotics. I've never traded them before, but this overall setups are pretty nice. Like the Swiss Huff right here. It has the main kind of 3 time frame alignments that I prefer and I look for. So a pullback is essentially going to be like an ACB on my 10-minute. It's going to be a CBO, so a complete breakout of both EMAs on my 1 hour. It's going to be an IBO, so a break of only the 50 EMA on the 4 hour. But essentially, you have an ACB, CBO, IBO. So all 3 of these main time frames align, right? And then your daily time frame, you have a good, bullish candle stick, and a break of, a consolidation of price action. This Swiss Huff also kind of fits with dollar Huff that we've been waiting and watching, right? Like we've been sitting here and watching this dollar Huff now for a week, waiting for it to break out. So there's that bias there of weak Huff, essentially. And Swiss Huff plays into that bias. It's already broken out, so it'd be the first opportunity to kind of trade it. And everything lines up pretty nice. The only thing I don't know is if spreads and if my broker will offer me enough leverage to be able to take this trade. But price action wise, it's nice. It has everything I look for, pretty much. So, you have a double bottom here, you have a push, you have a breakout on the 1 hour coming back for a retest of both your EMAs, your pivot, you have, some horizontal support right there. You've got fib levels. It looks good. It's a higher high on your 4 hour and your 1 hour. So those are in alignment, right? It looks good. I don't have a reason really to not take this trade. The only thing that'll keep me out of it is the spread or if I can't get leverage for it. And currently, if you look at my 2-minute time frame, you can see my spread on this pair. So obviously this spread is just ginormous and it's not feasible for me to take the trade because the spread itself is the position size of the trade. So be interesting to see how the spread tightens up on this later in the day or after we get out of the first hour of the market rollover. So I've been watching some of these exotics, and after the first hour, they do tighten up like your normal, primary pairs. But they don't really get as tight as they can possibly get until about London for me. So if this pulls back in the next couple hours, I anticipate I probably won't be able to take it due to a spread. If it pulls back during London, I think there's a chance I'll be able to take it. So we'll see. Swiss PLN, it's very similar concept, pretty much the same as Swiss Huff, right? ACB 10-minute, CBO 1 hour, IBO 4 hour. So everything's really in alignment, clear, consolidation of price, a breakout, coming back for a retest, and a follow through. And we're looking to play that follow through. So we're looking to play that kind of wave 3, if you would. So my fib levels are currently drawn off of this low and this high on both of these pairs. I think it is possible that you could draw the fib levels off the 4 hour low as well, which would be an even lower entry. So just depends. I also think the 1 hour is kind of fine to draw them from too. Just depends on how deep the pullback's going to be. So either way, both these exotics are the nicest trades of the day that I was able to find for sure from a price action perspective. But if I can't trade them due to a spreads and leverage perspective, a way for me to still trade Swiss is through that. I think this dollar Swiss position would be the next primary out of the normal kind of primary pairs core pairs you can trade. because I don't have an issue with leverage. I don't have an issue with spreads on this pair once we get out of the first hour of market rollover. So, but similar price action, but different, right? Like the EMAs don't really look the same, but it is, if it pulls back, it will be an ACB-esque on your 10-minute. It will be a CBO, so complete breakout on my 1 hour. It's just not really an IBO on my 4 hour, but it does have a clear lower low on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. So those two are in alignment. It's just the EMAs don't really kind of line up, right? But clear lower low, so coming back. If we get a retest here and a follow through, this will be a clear lower high, so a full out trend change, and then we'll be playing wave 3. So same concept to these exotic pairs, playing a wave 3 CBO. So see how it plays out. Decent daily. Dailies, really just kind of consolidated, just like the rest of the price action is. We can even throw in a line up here to make it a little easier to see, right? Just hasn't been able to really break that level, and then had a clear kind of breakdown here. So, and then our target is roughly this previous low over here. So I anticipate this is probably the trade I'll be able to take, but if I'm able to get into one of these exotic Swiss, be interesting. So then I have pound Swiss, pound yen on secondary watch. Pound Swiss, we'll see how it kind of develops. It's interesting. But obviously these other three are a lot better. Then Swiss yen doesn't really fit a strategy per se. It's kind of discretionary, but I'm just kind of watching to see how this comes back and retest this area. Just trying to give myself some options for this evening. I mean, we're 3 sessions into the week at this point. I haven't taken a trade this week. So just trying to give myself some options to make some profit in these last 2 sessions of the week. For the pound group, primary is euro pound. Pretty good. I mean, it's a clear kind of wave 1 break. You could call this, yeah. There was an IBO on this pair earlier in the week. I think it was the first session, Sunday/Monday. There was this kind of IBO here that I don't remember the specifics as to exactly why we didn't take the position. But I know that we didn't take this trade. But was a valid trade. May have been when I was asleep or something, looking at the time. But never really gave a CBO, right? It just kind of came up and then broke down again. And then now it's giving that kind of CBO. So could start a whole new, wave here, could call it something else, but I'm just calling this really a wave 3 CBO. You kind of have this inverse head and shoulders on your 4 hour and your 1 hour. Granted, this is kind of a double bottom at this point, but still nonetheless, it's there. Daily time frame. This is where this kind of gets questionable, right? Like, it's a perfect world. This would have come down here. It would have broke out up here. And then we would be playing this trade like this. Like that, we'd have what we have right here, but we'd have it on this follow through. Like, that's in a perfect world. So that would be a wave 5 CBO at that point. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, playing wave 5 CBO. Instead, it kind of consolidated price, broke down a little bit, and then gave us the full breakout. So I'm still considering this. You can look at it multiple ways. Either way. So that's why the daily's a little odd. Like, you have a good bullish candle on the daily now, but you could read this as to your 4 days into the bullish run. Typically, I only try and trade within the first 1 to 3 days of a run. So, but still an option for tonight. I still like it. I think it looks good. If we get a pullback, I'll still potentially give it a shot. So, pound CAD, also looked at this one earlier in the week. It had an IBO right here in the middle of a day, and then didn't really follow through much from there. Kind of broke up, gave us this double top, and now broke kind of price action here again. So a potential, another shot at an IBO on this coming up. The kind of negative I have for it is that it's not a clear, it's a lower low when you can like look at the 10-minute time frame and you look at this price action, right? Clear breakdown in your 10-minute, clear lower low. The 1 hour and like 4 hour though, you could argue it's still a lower high because of this low right here, right? On your 4 hour and your 1 hour. So it's not the best. In a perfect world, this high would be up here, and then this would be a clear lower low, like we have with euro pound, right? Like this is a clear higher high in this case because it's bullish, than right there for both the 4 hour and the 1 hour. So has potential, but also has some issues. I do like the double top. You kind of have this 10-minute trend in here that it broke. So from a 10-minute time frame, it looks okay, but now you're getting this double bottom, maybe even a triple bottom, and then a reversal. So I don't know if I want to trade back into that. It's interesting. It's an option. See how it develops. Pound knock, also an option, I feel like, but it is sitting at this horizontal level that it's respected multiple times previously at this point. So have to see how this develops as well. And then pound ZAR, I've never traded this. I haven't traded pound knock or pound ZAR before. But an interesting pair. You know, you have this trend line in here. You do have a break. You do have a lower low slightly from this previous one here on your 1 hour and your 4 hour. Decent price action, you know, clear kind of breakdown in your 10-minute. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't think it's a primary, but I think it's worth a flag and a watch. So main two trades I'm looking to take are these two, Swift Huff and Swift PLN. If I can't get either of those, dollar Swiss is probably the next primary of the day, or euro pound. I don't have an issue with either one of these. If they pull back and give me an entry, I'll take either one. And then potentially this pound CAD to see how it shapes up. But likely if this trade pulls back, then that means euro pound is going to pull back, and I'd prefer to take euro pound over that pound CAD. So then I got a number of trades still on development watch. Of course, we're still watching dollar Huff for this breakout here and playing a CBO at some point. Maybe in tomorrow's session, maybe earlier in the week, next week. Dollar CAD starting to get interesting. It's hitting this kind of, you know, level on your 4 hour, a little bit on your daily. That's been respected in the past, as well as the daily 200 EMA. So if price continues to consolidate here and we get a breakdown, this could be a potential IBO short coming up. Pound Kiwi, just kind of have it flagged to see how it reacts to these kind of previous all-time highs on your daily. See what happens from here. We had a lot of movement with Kiwi pairs last night with the rate announcement. And I don't really see a way to trade any of them coming into today. They all just really pushed up higher. If it would have been more bullish for the Kiwi and a lot of these Kiwi pairs would have broken down, you'd have some setups. And at this point, that's what we're waiting for. At least that's what I'm waiting for, is for these Kiwi pairs to start breaking down. Pound Aussie kind of falls in that same boat with the Kiwis. I think we could see price consolidate some more going up, but potentially an IBO is on the horizon for this Pound Aussie. Same thing, the Kiwi pair sitting at all-time highs. Just have it flagged as watch, see what happens. Euro dollar, no clue why I have this flagged anymore, honestly. So we're just going to delist it. Euro CAD, just waiting to see how, if price breaks down. If we get a decent kind of midday breakthrough here, it could be like a midday IBO. Could be, if we get a full out breakdown, could be a CBO come tomorrow. And if it was, it would line up nicely. You know, if price broke from here, it went to there, pulled back to roughly here, and then we play that wave 3 right there, wave 3 CBO. Could be nice. That's why I have it flagged. See what happens. Euro Aussie. Again, just kind of watching these Aussies and Kiwis. CAD Swiss at an interesting level, right? Like from a daily perspective, it's respected this multiple times now, and it's just approaching it. Granted, we have a bullish Swiss bias for tonight's session. This kind of contradicts it a little bit, right? Like if price consolidates here and pushes up, then our bias for Swiss is kind of null and void unless we get a strong just CAD movement. So it's still interesting. And then Kiwi Swiss is again sitting at all-time highs, all-time lows. So see how those develop as well. Either way, that's my watch list for tonight's session, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.